Hey guys, what is up? Aoki here, and I'm going to be doing a quick and dirty rundown on what I believe to be the top 5 champions in patch 8.14. So if you have absolutely no interest in watching the whole video, I just wanted to put the list right here. So if you don't, you don't want to hear my thoughts on why, you just want the quick and dirty list, there it is. Top 5 are Morgana, Nami, Karma, Fiddlesticks, and Rakans. For the rest of the video, I'm going to be talking about why I think each one deserves a spot on the top 5. So let's not waste any of you guys' time. The number 1 is Morgana. So, yup, this is still the queen bitch of the bot lane. A lot of her strength lies in picking her as a counter pick. She's also an incredibly first pick, but she is easily pick or ban in high elo if you allow the other person to lock in something like Blitzcrank, Leona, Thresh, really anything that relies on hard engage, landing one particular skill shot, going in and locking someone down. She obviously ruins that. You can play her very passively, very defensively, and very offensively. You can go out there and make big flash ult plays, but that's not necessarily necessary to get a lot of power out of this pick. So up next is Nami. There were no changes to Nami. She's actually been flying under the radar, I believe, of a lot of support players, Hilo included. She has great itemization with the new Athene, not new Athenes, but the recently buffed Athenes. Really, really easy, no-brainer itemization with her. She's also similar to Morgana in that she can be played very passively, very defensively, and still get a lot of inherent value out of her. On the other hand, you can still play her super, super offensively, big dick playmaking style. Go for the flash bubbles, go for the offensive tidal waves. But similar to Morgana, a lot of her strength relies in having someone else lock someone down and her giving follow-up CC. You don't really want to be essentially using your bubble in risky situations because you need that CC. If you lose it, you're a lot less of a champion. But if for instance, if you have a Sejuani, a Gragas, a Jax, anyone that can land that initial kind of easier CC, you can follow up with a ton of lockdown. It's really, really nice. Nami is on this list because we're starting to slowly see the resurgence of marksman in the bot lane, and she pairs a lot better with, for instance, a Lucian or an Ezreal even than someone with like a Swain. So that's the only reason she wasn't on my top 5 last patch, but she is now. So up next is Karma. This is actually the champion that received the most changes. Positive, of course. She's got some really nice buffs to her early game, going to help her get through that slump. Last patch, she sat somewhere around a 46% win rate, and in my opinion, I'm someone who plays a decent amount of Karma. She didn't feel bad. So getting these buffs, I can definitely see her going, reaching that 50% threshold. And good players that were maybe even potentially playing Karma on the last patch at 46% win rate are now going to skyrocket their win rate because these buffs are pretty nice. I actually did a video on the PBE when these buffs went through, and you can check that out. I'll put that down in the description if you want to see some gameplay of what she feels like. But definitely give Karma a chance now because she's got some pretty juicy buffs on patch 8.14. Kind of similar to Nami, she's just got really no-brainer itemization with Athene's Rush, and if you get a really nice juicy lead, you can actually go full AP and carry. Her Q radius. So when you mantra Q, the radius is actually bigger than it used to be, and it's really easy to hit. It was really easy to hit before. So there it is, Karma, guys. Next on the list, this is someone that has just been absolutely terrorizing the bot lane. This is the only reason he's higher than Rakan on the list is because he's absolutely he is effortless. I want to say he is an effortless laning phase. You just sit there, you crow, and of course that's your Dark Wind. There's virtually no counterplay to it. You really have to misposition and fuck up, which leaves a lot of the outplay potential, takes a lot of the outplay potential out of your enemy's hands, and it just, if you focus on positioning and crowing, you're basically going to be able to poke 90% of the matchups in bot lane out of lane. And then, of course, you just swap out your trinket for the sweeping lens, level 6, all in, you kill 90% of the bot lanes right now. Fiddlesticks, absolutely busted. This is actually one of the champions, one of the few supports that I think needs nerfed to the ground, or possibly even, re-envisioned as a different champion, because he's hilariously easy to play, guys. I'm telling you, put one game of practice in, and you're ready to go in ranked, and I don't recommend that for many champions. Like I said, Rakan would be higher. This champion actually got nerfed, so I want to warn you, if you aren't a Rakan player, he's not like Fiddlesticks. You can't just pick him up and play maybe one game and then be ready for ranked. You are going to have to put some practice into this champion. Love this champion to death. I think he's one of the few supports that has a ton of just like pure skill expression, different combos, and you can play him differently, and like my Rakan is going to look different from your Rakan if I practiced him more. things like that. But like I said, he did get some pretty brutal nerfs. The only reason he's still on this list is because most of those nerfs target his late game. Rakan is an incredibly well fleshed out champion. He has utility, playmaking, healing, shielding, does a decent amount of damage. You know, he's no brand, but he does a decent amount of damage. So incredibly well fleshed out champion. I don't think these nerfs are going to make him absolutely unplayable, and the fact that they focus his late game where his kit really shines, and it's less about the numbers at that point. I would say he still deserves a spot on this list, and at this point they've nerfed his healing and shielding, so you're really not picking Rakan as a utilitist. You know, I'm not sure if that's a word. You're not picking him for his utility necessarily. You're picking him mostly for his hard engage throughout the early to mid game, and then picking him because he's just a really well fleshed out champion for his late game. But guys, that is going to be my quick and dirty rundown on patch 8.14. Let me know down in the comments if you agree, if you disagree, and why. I'd love to hear. I'd love to get a discussion going down in the comments between support mains. So again, take it easy, fellas. Peace.